he will give a practical introduction to Ethereum. So please, a big applause for Aron from Ammers.
Thank you very much, Chris. Thanks everyone. Aron from Ammers, that's my name. I'm an independent consultant, developer, architect in the whole Bitcoin blockchain space. I've been interested in Ethereum for a while. I think there are many initiatives that are trying to do smart contracts or more functionality or assets or whatever on a blockchain or a consensus ledger. And well, Ethereum I think is one of the most promising of them, more promising at least. I think it's also, it has a highly academic atmosphere around it, like it's all about formulas and people philosophing about what do you call them? Well, complex principles, and while it's actually a pretty already usable technology, not in production, but for testing and development, we can definitely play with it and play with it very well. So I hope to demonstrate a bit about that. As a case study, I'm gonna look at property registry, like registering that you own a house, which in the Netherlands is done in the cadastre. They keep a record of, or what you could say, a ledger of who owns what and where is it. I'm going to show a simple example of how you can do that in a decentralized manner. First, just a tiny bit about Ethereum, very simplified. As simple as the drawing is, that's how simple I want to explain it. The Ethereum is based on a blockchain like Bitcoin is, a blockchain which is immutable, which is public, which is decentralized, which has all those properties that you know of the Bitcoin blockchain. It also has an internal currency, so transacting costs money. But it is very much more than Bitcoin in the sense that where Bitcoin can be one transaction of money from one person to another, maybe multi-signature, maybe with an opcode, and that's it. Ethereum can be a full computer program. Every transaction in Ethereum can be a full computer program. Within this little blockchain, so the scope of the program is limited, but what the program can do is unlimited. It's only limited by the practicalities of the system, limited by the amount of money that you want to pay for your little program that runs on the blockchain. Now those programs are called contracts. Now when you mention the word contract, the whole world starts to ask you, okay, it's a contract. So is it a contract in a legal sense? Where's the connection to the real world? The connection to the real world is of course important in any way you're going to use it. But you don't have to see it in the same way that you see a piece of paper with two signatures under it. Because a contract, as most people perceive it, is a piece of paper with clauses and a signature under it. It doesn't have to be that, and it is not that, because it's a computer program. You can use that computer program to save rules, like formalize the rules that you would normally do in your piece of paper, but you can do other things with it. So that's one part, and the execution of those contracts is guaranteed. Your little computer program, what it computes, what it stores, data is guaranteed in a decentralized way. Every computation done in that contract is as safe as a Bitcoin transaction. There's, however, a contract as a little computer program is not usable. It doesn't have a nice app interface. It doesn't look as Microsoft Word. It's something that can be accessed through the Ethereum API, but making it usable as an application requires a user interface. Now, for that, there are the distributed apps or dApps. Those dApps are basically, which if you are in the web development space or you are a web developer yourself, you're familiar with, because it's HTML, it's JavaScript, it's CSS, and you can use all the libraries that you know, you can access all the APIs that you know, as long as your dApp has internet access. So it's, you should be familiar with it. Now, the execution of this dApp is very different from the contract, because this execution is not guaranteed. It would be very, very complex to offer a system that says, we're going to guarantee that all of what you make in your website, your buttons, your JavaScript, your CSS, executes 100% the same way for everyone. Whereas they do that for the little contracts, for the core of the functionality, they don't do that for the dApps. But the dApps are distributed in such a way that they are, let's say, at least their source code, that you can be sure of that it arrives at the end user who uses the app. So a bit about just that distinction. The whole of this is what you can see as Ethereum, and the contracts themselves, they are written in different languages, not JavaScript, not HTML, but certain language and stuff like that that you definitely have to learn. Case study. In a very simple sense, a land register registers, these are things that are around the world, and those people own them. So if I own a house, I have a house, there's some record in the land register in their computer that they manage that says Kalverstraat is owned by Aron van Ammers. If I want to sell my property, I go to a notary, and the buyer goes to a notary. Well, we sign, letter goes to the land registry, and they say, now it's owned by this other person. Simplified, once again. This is a centralized way of doing things. It could be insecure, it could be corruptible, it could be all of those things that are the character of centralized institutions. You could solve it in a decentralized way. In a decentralized way, you could say, okay, there's no place for this centralized institution anymore. We just have this application that manages it for us in a perfect way, in an immutable way, and we can just sit on a table, me and the buyer of my property, and the buyer says, well, here's the money, and I say, okay, here's the property, because I can transfer it in the decentralized method. Now that's a very idealistic sense of thinking, because it differs so much from the world we live in now. You cannot just say from one day to the next, okay, we're going to throw all the records away that we already have. We're going to use this awesome decentralized system. It's not going to work. So what you could do, well, at least I'm philosophizing about it in my demo application, you could say, well, all of the records are currently over there in the centralized institution, but I, as an owner of a property, could say, dear centralized institution, I would like now to manage my property myself in the distributed app. I could submit a claim, and the centralized land registry could confirm that claim and say, okay, have fun, we're not going to meddle with it anymore, you can now own it. And then I would have control over the records of my property. And then I could do this, I could just all fully autonomously say, dear other person, have my property is now officially yours, as official as it can be, because the centralized land registry has delegated it to the app, and I can use the app because I have the keys. Well, as I said, I built a small demo app that does this. What you see here is the proof of concept Ethereum client, the C++ version. I've tried to disable as much funky panels so that it looks at least a bit understandable, and still there's a lot. But what you see basically here on the left side, this would be what an end user could experience of this app. This could be an app on a phone, this could be an app on a computer. It is a web app, basically, to the end user. And as you see, I've used the Google JavaScript API within my distributed app, it's an external library of which the execution nor the data is guaranteed. So there we have a point of external data which could not be trusted. But there will always be this, which you have to think about, whether can I trust this external API? Do I want to trust it? Do I want to do this all myself? Because in this app what I've done is, let's say I am an owner of a house in Amsterdam, and I would like to do what I just showed you. I would like to officially file a claim with the cadastre to say, I now want to register that this property is mine, I want to register it in the centralized app, and after that I want to manage it myself. What I could do is go to an address on the map and say, okay, here, this is nice, the Warmstad, this is mine, and I could file a claim which the coordinates of the location are submitted. The only usage of the external API of the Google Map here is submitting those coordinates. So you could envision a version of this app where you could just type in those coordinates, and then you would not be depending on external information. But I wonder if people are actually going to understand that or use that. I think this is a more useful version than a version where there's no map and I would have to type those numbers to indicate that I own this place. Well, so let's just type in some small thing. I added a field so I have the user, the owner of the place would type the address themselves. You could say, well, why do you need that? You can just get it off the Google Map as well. But the point is that I claim ownership of it with all the information that I have. So maybe that's more information or more correct information than that's visible on the map. Or maybe I cannot indicate on the map enough detail with, say, what's the third floor behind or whatever. Well, I submitted a claim. Now, what you see happening under here, this is in the proof of concept Ethereum client. This is mining. Where in Bitcoin, you submit a transaction to the network. A lot of mining pools mine until a new block is created, and the transactions in that block are confirmed and immutable. Here, in the current state of things, your client mines on the block and mines on the transaction that it has submitted, because the claiming my ownership just was a transaction. Now, you see that the mining is finished, and if I look at the blockchain, this is the blockchain visualized. There's a new little block here where my claim data was submitted. We can even see that I typed the address, and if I just refresh the app over here, you can see that there's a new little point on the map saying that there's a pending claim. Now the app did some things. You could add many more things here. You could add video if you want, whatever. But the only interaction with a smart contract or an Ethereum program, as whatever you like to call it, we're just submitting coordinates and an address to a contract. And that's the part that's immutable, and that's the part that's stored in the blockchain. Now, in this fictive explanation, there would be a role for the centralized registry confirming the claim, and they could confirm the claim, and then it would be official that my property was mine and it was stored in the blockchain. So, in the situation that this would actually be realized, I think there would be several problems left, because even, like I said, it would be idealistic to think that from today to tomorrow the whole world is going to change to a decentralized land register. And even so, if the whole world would, there would still be a need for an organization or a governance, whatever, that manages exceptions. Because smart contracts, they define rules. And you can think long and hard about those rules, and you can look at the past, what happened, this happened, that happened, yeah, have we got everything? Yeah, we got everything. And if you then trust the whole administration to this thing, you're going to find out that there's something that you didn't think of. You're going to find out that there's a situation that you didn't think of. And if you trust the world to robots, to say it like that, and there's no way back, then you have a problem. So I think in all cases where you use smart contracts, there is always a role, be it not for a central organization like this, managing the silo of data, and if there would be a bomb of this land register, then we would have a problem because it would be all lost, or it would be someone very corrupt that it would be meddled with. But there would be a role in managing the exceptions, managing the things that we haven't foreseen, like being human, basically, being sensible. And how we're going to do that, that's a very much of a challenge. And like giving a centralized organization or even a structured organization a role in the contract, like in this app, I think that might be one of the ways that, because especially if they would not have full control, but they would have some control. And as these programs allow you to do anything that's possible in a computer program, those type of things are possible. It's possible to have more complex structures than you have no control or you have all control. So that's why I think it's interesting. The technologies that I've used, the C++ version of the Ethereum, current proof of concept, TypeScript, Bootstrap, SBAdmin, Google Maps API. If you're a web developer, you know these things, then you might be happy that you could use them to build apps. That's all for now. I'll put the app in the source code for anyone to see if you be interested. Anyways.
Could you go back to the technical slides?
Yeah.
So, if I understand correctly, the first thing is the kind of web server that runs on your phone then? And
yeah, basically what this thing does, right now this is a very technical bells and whistles thing, but if you schematically, like if you see it in a model type of way, it's these two things. It's this what you see, and it's this what it does. But now, this what it does, it also makes very visible. It shows you the blockchain, it shows you the contract. But to the end user, once this gets to production, they will only experience this part. The rest will be there. There will be this little Ethereum object that you access in JavaScript to make your transactions, which is guaranteed to be secure. But except for that, users will not receive it.
But you talk to a thing that holds your keys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not some server on the web that holds your keys?
No, it's, the keys are definitely local. It's, yeah. In fact, all of this is local.
Okay.
Because anytime I want to try to connect to the real testnet, all goes lost. So you have a painful demo.
Have you been in contact with the cadastre to talk about your idea and see?
No, I just thought this up for this as well, really to make this understand, to grasp it, like what is it really? But yeah, it should be fun to.
I think you certainly should talk to the people at cadastre.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll embrace your concept.
Yeah, I think we're going to need several sessions to get the idea.
I'm trying to be optimistic. You never know.
They're going to say, so you have a new app. You already have one. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, you kind of talked about it already, but what I'm always wondering is like, there's always still this company or this organization I have to trust. So it's like, for me, when I see it, it's like, they're still in there, then I don't really see the point. Or what exactly?
Or maybe the organization.
There's something, yeah, like
built this
a
app.
scammer could come in and could like register to something,
Yeah.
and then somebody has to be able to clean it up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could make a fully decentralized land registry without any central body having any power. The problem with that, I think, well, let's say we built this app to colonize Mars, because nobody owns anything of Mars yet. So I could say, well, I claim this this little square kilometer here because the sun is nice, and now it's mine, or maybe it's not. Or how are you going to do that? Well, in a, like, let's say, greenfield situation, you could probably achieve that and have some voting, and then in the end everybody is happy because everybody owns it. But right now everybody owns something already, and there is a full register. So you could, like, if the central register would deem good, migrate the whole register to this. You might, but I think this will be a more accessible way, and I think that in the end there's always a role for a governing body. Let's say it doesn't have to be a governing body in the sense that the Dutch government, who is voted by every 4 years, sets up an organization that is paid by for whatever, and they do this in our company. This could be something of just citizens who are voted for, especially to be in this governing body, and it could require, let's say, 70 out of 100 majority to undo a transfer or something like that. Because indeed, if there's a centralized body who has full control over anything, who could say, well, yeah, so you really registered that you are the owner of this property, but now you're not, then you don't have decentralization. I fully agree. Yeah, first behind you.
Who can mine? And if the answer is anybody, can anybody, well, I expect that to be the answer. And can anybody mine on any EDB blockchain? Because these blockchains are necessarily consequentially going to be very small.
Yeah, well, the first answer is not everything is fully determined.
Okay.
Like, still developing, as is even the mining algorithm. They haven't fully defined what the mining algorithm is going to be from day one. But, well, what you could expect is definitely that everybody could mine. What you could expect is that they're going to have scaling problems. So they're going to have to find a solution for that. I don't think scaling has been on the top of the list of development. I don't think that they have a very well grasp of these kind of scaling that this will require in the end if this gets mainstream. Because even with Bitcoin you have scaling problems because you now have a blockchain of 25 gigabytes and you have the whole mining, this centralization problem. But if you're gonna put full computer programs and their storage and apps, etc., well, not the apps, but the computer storage on a blockchain, you're gonna have even more because you're gonna have both the storage and the calculation, scaling. So you could definitely not do that on your laptop. But so I don't have any details, but I do know that the Vitaly Buterin, mind behind Ethereum, has done a lot of thinking and is doing a lot of thinking on a centralization of mining and what you can do against it. So I think they will have at least a good solution, but whether it's a perfect solution, no, probably not.
But this is not clear yet.
That's not clear yet. No, it's like
that seems like a big if.
Yeah, well, for example, this example, or the proof of concept client, this mining, it just does some dummy operation to show you that it does mining, but it's not really mining. So, yeah.
Please go to the last question.
Yeah. What number? Yeah. No,
So we are limited in time. So
Yeah.
Going back to this central organization and its functions, normally the basis in things like this, it's the law.
yeah.
But on other applications, I thought about the payment industry. There's a lot of use these days of rules and regulations organizations. So they don't execute. These days they even don't take care of the exceptions, that's by operators. But then you need something for the rules and regulations in which you don't operate with like standardization a little bit. That kind of organization is needed.
Interpretation.
Yeah, I think a regulating body would this is how I envisioned it. You have the individual citizens who can claim and a centralized body who can confirm an
You
idea.
have to decide on the format of a claim, which is valid or not. So there must be
Yeah, I think the role of the regulations body would be in determining how is this contract, how is all solutions set up before we allow our current centralized organization to engage in such an endeavor.
Yeah.
So they would be the auditors of the smart contracts themselves,
Yeah.
which would just
Should be
to
independent.
show you, give you an idea. This is the contract behind it. It's just code.
And somebody who should stand.
So
Yeah.
this is not human readable in that sense. It's readable for me as a programmer.
Yeah,
It's
this
not readable
is
for a
programmer readable. Yeah,
Okay, that's
programmer readable.
But could be changed.
Yeah, well, people are building visual editors for contract as well, because what you said about transactions, how it's very necessary that non-experts can read this, because otherwise you have this knowledge gap that still separates the world. Now you have this knowledge gap and power gap towards centralized organization, because you don't know what's going on in there, and you can't do anything about it. And with these kind of solutions on paper, in theory, you have full insight, but only 0.001% of the population understands it. So still, there's another percent then that gets the power.
And it
It's a
would
different
be,
percent, but
it would be
Please
stored in the
go to
blockchain.
this last question.
yeah.
because we
Did you
really-
want to finish up?
Why would you mind? Because you said there's money involved.
Yeah. There's an internal currency, and you get basically the mining concept is the same as Bitcoin.
But so you earn another coin, which is Ethereum coin. So.
You're Ether. And you can either use that to run contracts or to sell to others, and there's just going to be an exchange for Ether. Yeah. All right.
Okay, please.
Thanks very much.
We will. Aron, thank you for your presentation. We will now have a very small demonstration of Bitkassa by Patrick. Sorry?
Altijd een pauze.
Ja. Oh, sorry.
Ja,